Let your mind settle. Let the day's worries dissolve and allow yourself to be transported to a world of quiet suspense and ultimate protection. Imagine a grand, sun-drenched ballroom in Napa Valley, California. The air is sweet with the scent of gardenias and champagne. Crystal chandeliers cast a warm, dappled light over linen-draped tables, and a string quartet plays a soft Vivaldi piece. In the center of this beautiful scene, at a table adorned with white roses, sits a grandmother and her 7-year-old grandson. This is a story of love, of a whispered warning, and of the fierce, unshakable instinct that can save a life. My name is Beatrice Sterling. I am a woman of 70 years, with silver hair and hands that have rocked cradles, tended gardens, and held my family together through joy and profound sorrow. Tonight is my son's second wedding. His name is Jonathan, a kind-hearted engineer who lost his first wife, my beloved Claire, 3 years ago. Beside me, swinging his little legs under the table, is my heart, my grandson, Ethan, a quiet, thoughtful boy of 7 with his mother's intelligent eyes. He pushes a small, polished stone, his lucky rock, back and forth across the tablecloth, lost in his own world. I reach over and gently straighten the miniature bow tie at his neck, a gesture filled with memories of Claire, who had a laugh that could light up the darkest room. The bride, a woman named Giselle, is breathtaking in a gown of Venetian lace. She moves through the crowd with the practiced grace of a swan, her smile brilliant and unwavering. Jonathan watches her, his face alight with a hope I desperately want to share. But a small, cold stone of disquiet has settled in my stomach since the moment I met Giselle. I've dismissed it as an old woman's resistance to change, a loyalty to Claire's memory. Tonight, I tell myself, is about new beginnings. An elderly gentleman at our table leans over. "He's growing so fast, Beatrice. What a fine young man." "Just turned 7, I reply with a soft smile, my hand resting on Ethan's back. Time is a thief in the kindest way. I turn to cut a piece of vanilla cake for Ethan, but as I hand it to him, I notice he has gone utterly still. The rock is motionless in his small fist. He looks up at me, and in his wide, blue eyes, I see not a child's distraction, but pure, unadulterated fear. His cold little hand shoots out and grabs mine, his grip surprisingly strong. "Grandma," he whispers, his voice trembling, "I want to go home, right now." My heart gives a single hard thump against my ribs. I lean close, the gardenia scent of the centerpiece suddenly cloying. "Sweetheart, what's wrong? Tell me." He shudders, pressing his lips together. Then he pulls me even closer, his breath a warm, anxious puff against my ear. "Grandma, you didn't look under the table, did you?" The question is so bizarre, so specific, that the air leaves my lungs. A primal chill, colder than any logic, races down my spine. I force a calm I do not feel. "It's all right, my love, let's see." With a smile plastered on my face for the benefit of nearby guests, I slowly lift the heavy white damask tablecloth and peer into the shadowy space below. For a moment, I see only the forest of chair legs and Ethan's polished dress shoes. Then my eyes adjust. There, on the lush carpet, beside his chair, lies a small, neatly folded square of paper. Ethan whimpers softly, pressing his small body against my arm. Every instinct I possess screams a warning. In the genteel hum of the wedding, I feel isolated on an island of dread. I bend down fully, my knees protesting, and retrieve the paper. The world narrows to this single, innocuous square. I unfold it. The handwriting is a rushed, angular script, unlike the elegant invitations. It reads, "Table 7. Ensure the child's plate includes the prawn appetizer." The words don't just sit on the page, they lunge at me. Ethan is deathly, epinephrine-pen-level allergic to shellfish. Prawns, shrimp, lobster, a single bite could close his airways in minutes. This is not a mistake. Everyone in our family, everyone close to us knows. Jonathan has drilled it into every teacher, every friend's parent. It is our family's most sacred rule. A roaring silence fills my head, drowning out the quartet, the laughter, the clink of crystal. I look up, and my gaze crashes directly into Giselle's. She's across the room, holding a flute of champagne, laughing at something a guest has said. But for one fleeting, unguarded second, her eyes meet mine, and in them I see not confusion, not curiosity, but a flicker of something sharp and calculating, like a chef checking a timer. Then it's gone, replaced by her perfect, bridal smile. Memories, sharp and unwelcome, assault me. The way Giselle's charm felt slightly rehearsed, the time she forgot and offered Ethan a sauce that contained oyster paste, brushing it off as a silly oversight. Her impatience with his quiet, careful nature, her subtle comments to Jonathan about building resilience. I had chalked it all up to cluelessness, to the friction of blending a new family. Now, each moment rearranges itself into a sinister pattern. I crumple the note in my fist, the paper crackling like a dry bone. I wrap my other arm around Ethan, pulling him into the sanctuary of my side. "It's okay," I murmur into his hair, but inside, a storm is breaking. This is not a social misstep. This is a plotted, premeditated act hidden in the chaos of a wedding feast. My gentle, bookish grandson is an obstacle in Giselle's new narrative, and she means to remove him. The opulent ballroom transforms around me. The flowers seem waxen, the music a hollow soundtrack, the smiling guests mere extras in a play where my grandson's life is the stakes. I know I must act, but I am one elderly woman in a sea of celebration. I need leverage. I need witnesses, and I need to do it without causing a panic that might let the culprit slip away. Catching the eye of a passing waiter, a young man named Mateo who'd served us earlier with a kind smile, I gestured him over subtly. "This may seem strange," I say quietly, my voice low and steady, "but could you discreetly bring the event manager and the head of security to the hallway? Tell them it's an urgent medical concern concerning a severe allergy. Do not, under any circumstances, mention this to the bride or groom just yet." He sees the grave urgency in my eyes and gives a quick professional nod, melting back into the crowd. I turn to my dear friend Rosemary, sitting on Ethan's other side. A former nurse, she is a pillar of calm competence. "Rosemary," I whisper, "Ethan's allergen is on site. I need you to take him to the lobby lounge right now. Order him a plain lemonade from the bar, from the bottle, and do not let any food near him. Stay with him, and do not come back in here until I personally come for you." She doesn't ask questions. She reads the truth on my face. "Come on, explorer," she says to Ethan, her voice cheerfully normal. "Let's go find out if this fancy hotel has a goldfish pond." She takes his hand and leads him away, a shield of unwavering normalcy. My heart aches as I watch him go, but the stone in my stomach hardens into resolve. Now I am unencumbered. Now I can fight. In the quiet of the carpeted hallway, I meet with David, the event manager, and Marcus, the head of security, a man with calm eyes and a military bearing. I show them the crumpled note. "My grandson is anaphylactic to shellfish. This note is an instruction to poison him. I believe it originated from someone inside that ballroom." I watch their faces shift from polite concern to stark professionalism. "We have the order slips from the kitchen," David says, his voice tight. "We can trace the handwriting, see who submitted the request for Table 7's special instructions." "And the staff," Marcus adds. "Someone took that note and either lost it or perhaps had a crisis of conscience and deliberately dropped it." We move to a private office with a monitor linked to the ballroom's security cameras. With Marcus's skilled hands on the controls, we rewind. We watch the joyful chaos, guests mingling, waiters flowing like a well-trained tide. Then we see it. 20 minutes before the appetizers are to be served, Giselle excuses herself from a circle of friends. She doesn't go to the restroom or to Jonathan. She walks to a small, secluded writing desk in an alcove, partially obscured by a large floral arrangement. We see her take a piece of the hotel's stationery, write quickly, fold the note, and hand it to a young, nervous-looking server, the same one, we confirm, who was assigned to our section. The server takes it, looks at it, and walks toward the kitchen, but as he passes table 7, he fumbles with his tray. He doesn't drop a glass, he seems to deliberately let the small, folded square slip from his fingers under the edge of the tablecloth. He glances around quickly, his face pale, then hurries on without retrieving it. He didn't deliver it, Marcus states flatly. He sabotaged the instruction. Find him, I say. The young waiter, his name is Leo, is brought to the office. He's trembling. I'm so sorry, he blurts out before we can speak. She gave me the note, told me it was a special surprise for the boy from his new stepmom. But I have a little brother. I saw the boy earlier, he was so quiet. Something felt wrong. I read the note when I was in the pantry. I saw prawns, and I remembered the note card on the table that listed his allergy. I couldn't do it. I pretended to lose it. I was going to warn someone, but I got scared I'd lose my job. I step forward and place a hand on his arm. Young man, you didn't just save a job tonight. You saved a life. Thank you. We have the evidence, the video, the note, the waiter's testimony, the kitchen slip with Giselle's table number, and a scrawled "Add prawns to child's plate" in handwriting we will now have analyzed. I straighten my shawl, my hands steady for the first time since Ethan grabbed them. It's time to end this performance. I walk back into the ballroom, Marcus and David flanking me subtly. The main course is being served. The atmosphere is one of convivial warmth. I find Jonathan. He is smiling, about to take a bite of his meal. Jonathan, I say, my voice clear. We need to speak. Now. It's about Ethan's safety. The smile dies on his lips. He sees my face, sees the security chief behind me. He excuses himself and follows us back to the office. I show him the video. I hand him the note. I watch as the color drains from his face, as the hopeful light in his eyes shatters and is replaced with a horror so profound it makes him stagger. Why? How could she? Ethan! His words are fragments of a broken world. She saw him as a permanent link to Claire, a complication in her fresh start. She thought a tragic, accidental reaction at a crowded wedding would be unsuspicious, a terrible, tragic flaw in the day. Jonathan sinks into a chair, his head in his hands. The betrayal is total. The man who builds structures for a living finds his own world demolished. What do you want to do, Mr. Sterling? Marcus asks respectfully. Jonathan looks up, his eyes red-rimmed, but now burning with a father's fury. I want to confront her, here, now, before she can spin a single lie. What happens next is not a dramatic shouting confrontation in the ballroom. That would only create spectacle and give Giselle room for theatrical denial. Instead, Marcus quietly invites Giselle to the office, suggesting the photographer needs a quick word about the cake-cutting sequence. She enters, her smile radiant and fixed. It falters when she sees Jonathan's ashen face, my steady gaze, and the sober presence of security. Darling, Beatrice, is everything all right? Sit down, Giselle, Jonathan says, his voice like cold iron. He plays the security footage. We watch her watch herself. Her perfect facade doesn't crumble, it calcifies. She becomes very still, very cold. This is absurd. A misunderstanding. A note for a surprise suite, perhaps. You're twisting it. Then Leo, the waiter, is brought in. He points at her, his voice gaining strength. You gave me the note. You told me it was for the little boy at table 7. You said, make sure he gets the prawns. It's a tradition. Giselle's mask finally slips, not into tears, but into a chilling, contemptuous smirk. Fine, you've caught me in your little melodrama. The boy is clingy, needy. He holds Jonathan back. He's a ghost of a dead woman in our home. I merely suggested an accelerated blending, a life without that constant reminder. Her words hang in the air, monstrous in their calm cruelty. Jonathan flinches as if struck. There is nothing left to say. Marcus steps forward. Ms. Delacroix, you are no longer welcome at this event. We will escort you to collect your personal effects from the bridal suite. The local police have been notified and will wish to speak with you regarding attempted endangerment of a child. She leaves without another word, her head held high, the epitome of defiant wickedness. The wedding is, of course, over. Jonathan makes a brief, shattered announcement to the guests, citing a grave family emergency. The stunned crowd disperses in a hushed, confused murmur. But our story does not end in that dark office. It finds its new beginning in the quiet lobby lounge, where Rosemary is reading a story to Ethan. He looks up as we enter. Jonathan falls to his knees and gathers his son into a crushing, trembling hug, weeping into his small shoulder. "I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry I didn't see. I'm so sorry." In the weeks that follow, the police investigation unfolds. Giselle's cold calculation is laid bare. Jonathan files for an annulment. The storm passes, leaving our family bruised but intact, huddled together in the essential light of truth. And in that light, something else quietly grows. For years, my goddaughter, Clara, has been our family's quiet anchor. She was Claire's best friend, a warm, steadfast presence who has always adored Ethan, taking him to museums, helping him with his science projects, her love for him as natural as breathing. In the wreckage left by Giselle, it is Clara who is there, not with dramatic gestures, but with steady, healing consistency. She brings over meals, listens to Jonathan's anger and grief without judgment, and builds Lego fortresses with Ethan on the living room floor. I watch them one evening. Jonathan is watching them too, a forgotten book in his lap. He sees the easy way Ethan laughs with Clara, the way she knows to cut his apple slices just so, the way her presence doesn't feel like an addition, but a return to something essential. Months later, on an ordinary Saturday afternoon with no fanfare, Jonathan takes Clara's hand. They are in my garden, where Ethan is helping me plant sunflowers. "Mom," Jonathan says, his voice still carrying scars, but now also a deep, quiet certainty. "I was blind once, chasing a glittering illusion, but I see clearly now. True love isn't a spectacular show. It's the quiet hand that steadies you in a storm. It's the person who protects your child as their own." He turns to Clara. "Will you build a real, quiet, honest life with us?" Clara's eyes fill with tears, but they are tears of joy. She nods, and Ethan, sensing the profound rightness of the moment, runs over and wraps his arms around both their legs. Their wedding, a year later, is nothing like the Napa spectacle. It is in my backyard, under a canopy of twinkling lights and the very sunflowers we planted that day. Ethan is the ring bearer, his lucky rock in his pocket. Clara wears a simple ivory dress. Jonathan's smile is not one of dazzled hope, but of deep, hard-won peace. As they say their vows, I look at my family, at my son, finally home, at my grandson, safe and smiling, and at Clara, the woman whose love was always a shelter, not a threat. I squeeze Ethan's hand. He looks up at me and whispers, "It's okay, Grandma. You can look under the table. There's nothing bad there anymore." And he's right. So remember, as you drift towards sleep, that love often speaks in whispers, a child's anxious grip, a quiet instinct in your heart, a loyal hand in the dark. The grandest facades can hide the darkest intentions, while the truest shelters are often built from simple, steady devotion. Guard your loved ones with a listening heart, and trust that courage, fueled by love, can dispel even the most carefully planned shadows. May your night be peaceful, your dreams gentle, and your heart assured that even in stillness, you are a guardian. Thank you for listening.